Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the brutally honest wisdom from Brian Tracy's book, Just Shut Up and Do It. We're going to talk about the single biggest mental block that holds most of us back, and more importantly, how you can absolutely smash right through it. Let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? Where you've got the talent, you've got the drive, but it just feels like something is holding you in place. It's kind of like you're tied down by an invisible rope that only lets you go so far. Well, turns out about 80% of people feel that way. But what if I told you that rope, you've got the power to cut it right this second? So to really get a handle on our own invisible ropes, we've got to talk about elephants. And not just any elephants. We're talking about those massive Indian elephants that were basically the battle tanks of the ancient Maharajas. I mean, these animals could terrify entire armies. And the secret to how they're trained? Well, it holds a huge lesson about our own hidden power. So picture this. It all starts when the elephant is just a baby. It gets tied to a solid post with a really thick, heavy rope. And naturally, the baby elephant does what any baby would do. It fights like crazy to get back to its mother. It pulls and it struggles day in and day out, but that rope is just too strong. It can't break free. And after trying and failing over and over again, the baby elephant learns this really powerful, kind of crushing lesson. The rope is stronger than I am, so it stops trying. It just gives up. Psychologists actually have a name for this. They call it learned helplessness. It's a belief burned into your brain from past experiences that you're just powerless to change things.
And here's the absolutely wild part. When that elephant grows up into a 5-ton powerhouse that could literally walk through a wall, all it takes to keep it in place is a thin little piece of rope tied to a flimsy tent stake. The elephant never even tries to break away. Why? Because that belief it formed as a tiny baby is still running the show.
The connection here is just impossible to ignore, isn't it? For that massive elephant, the rope isn't a real barrier anymore. It's just a memory. So you have to ask yourself, what are your ropes? They're all those I can't beliefs we carry around, these old and often totally untrue ideas that we picked up somewhere along the way, and now they're holding our own immense power in check. So where do these limiting beliefs even get their juice from? Well, Brian Tracy argues that the root of all this negativity, this feeling of being stuck and helpless, it all comes down to one single thing: blame. Just think about it for a second. It's literally impossible to feel angry or resentful or jealous without, on some level, pointing the finger at someone or something else for why you're unhappy. So how do you finally cut that rope for good? It's with these 3 simple words that act like a master switch for your entire mindset. Just saying, I am responsible. Now, this isn't about taking the faults for something. It's about taking back your power. It instantly vaporizes negative emotions because you simply cannot blame somebody else while also taking full responsibility. The two cannot exist in your mind at the same time.
See, that simple phrase is what flips you from a victim mindset to a victor mindset. A victim points fingers. They wait around, hoping someone else will come and solve their problems. But a victor, they take ownership. They know, like Tracy says, that no one is coming to the rescue. They act decisively, and that is where all their strength comes from.
Okay, so you've cut the rope, you've taken responsibility, so now what? Well, now you build your blueprint for action. This process looks so simple, but don't let that fool you. Every single step is critical. First, you have to decide exactly what you want. No vague stuff like, I want to be rich. Be specific. Second, and this is totally non-negotiable, you have to write it down. Get it out of your head and onto paper. Third, set a deadline. A goal without a deadline is just a wish. And finally, and this might be the most important part, take that first step right away. Do something, anything, the moment you have your plan. And if you're thinking, writing it down, is that really such a big deal? Get this. Only about 3% of adults actually have their goals written down. And according to the research Tracy cites, that same tiny group of people ends up earning, on average, 10 times more than people with the exact same background who don't. That's the incredible power of just getting clear. All right, so you've got your goal, you've got your plan. But now comes the next big battle, the fight against inertia. That powerful temptation to just quit when things get hard. This is where we separate the winners from the people who are just wishing. Procrastination is the #1 enemy of action. So here are 3 dead simple ways to kill it. Feeling totally overwhelmed by a huge task? Use the salami slice method. Just focus on doing one tiny piece of it. Don't even know where to begin? Try the Swiss cheese method. Just poke a hole in the project by working on it for 5 or 10 minutes. That's it. Still dragging your feet? Make a public promise. Tell someone what you're going to do and when. That social pressure creates instant accountability. I mean, this quote really says it all, doesn't it? Every single time you feel like stopping and you push through anyway, you are cementing the identity of a winner in your mind. Persistence isn't just something you do. It's literally who you become. And I love this next one from Napoleon Hill because it shows that persistence isn't just about finishing a to-do list. It's the ingredient that actually forges your character. Just like adding carbon turns flimsy iron into hard steel, every single time you persist, you make yourself stronger. You make yourself more capable of handling the next challenge.
So, we've talked about the mindset, we've got the plan, and we know the power of persistence. Now we're at the very heart of it all. The core idea that gives the book its very direct title.
According to Tracy, way too many of us are living on what he calls Someday I'll Island. You know the place. It's where everybody just sits around talking about all the great things they plan to do someday. But success isn't found there. Hope is not a strategy.
Your actions, the things you do, minute by minute, day after day, they tell the world. And more importantly, they tell yourself who you really are. It's not about what you intend to do. It's about what you actually execute.
Not tomorrow. Not next week when you've got more time. And definitely not when you finally feel motivated. The only moment you have any real power to change anything is right now, in this very second. That first step, no matter how small it is, that's what changes everything.
So, I'm going to leave you with one final and very direct question. Don't just think about it. I want you to decide. What is the one single action you will take toward your most important goal the second this explainer is over? Because your answer, and more importantly, your immediate action, is what will define everything that comes next.